Holden Karnofsky, co-founder of GiveWell and Open Philanthropy Project. So excited you came today to the Graduate School of Business to talk to my individual philanthropy students. Today we talked about effective altruism. How would you define the core tenets of this philanthropic model?
Effective altruism is roughly using evidence and reason to figure out how to do as much good as possible and then taking action on that basis.
Fantastic. And what inspired you to create the Open Philanthropy Project?
Yeah, so the Open Philanthropy Project started with GiveWell, which I also co-founded, and that was kind of a classic story of me wanting a product that didn't exist. So I wanted a website that would help me figure out how to help the most people for the least money. I wanted it didn't exist, I helped to create it. And then with Open Philanthropy, I wanted a similar resource for people giving away, very large amounts of money.
We're living in this moment where there is extraordinary strife, not only in many of our local communities, in our nation, as well as globally. But one of the things that always gives me boundless hope is this new generation of future social change makers and leaders who want to positively touch and transform lives. What do you think are the biggest challenges that we're facing in the philanthropic field right now?
Yeah, I think philanthropy is very hard because it's not self-correcting, so you never know how something went unless you make a huge effort yourself to find out, and even then, a lot of times you can't for a very long time or at all. So, if you're running a restaurant or a website, a lot of times if something goes wrong, you find out relatively quickly, and you find out whether you want to or not. And in philanthropy, I think you have to want to find out, and even then, you might not. And because of that, I think philanthropy is a really great place for people who are reflective, analytical, thoughtful, who like to ask themselves tough questions. I think philanthropy is known as a very emotional domain, and it is, but I think it's also a great place for people who are unusually thoughtful.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I think one of the greatest challenges of philanthropy is the fact that it is so difficult to measure a lot of the impact that we strive to create. Evaluation is very challenging, and the accountability is totally self-imposed for whether or not we are going to choose to measure. One final question for you, Holden. If there was one piece of wisdom that you wish you had at the beginning of your journey as a social entrepreneur and philanthropic leader that might inspire or empower a new generation, what would that be?
I think I wished I had kind of had a better sense of how central, when you're doing philanthropy, how central the leadership is of whoever you're supporting. So, it's easy to get excited about an idea on paper for a project or something someone should try. And unless you find someone who is even more excited about the idea than you are to support and to get behind, I think it's not really going anywhere. And so, to really focus on finding, great leaders and finding people who share one's passion for what one wants to do, I think is, very important when doing philanthropy.
Holden, you're a rock star.
Thanks.